karate lessons, or you know somebody who's taken karate lessons?
Karate.
Awesome. Okay, so today in our book, we're going to read a different version of the Three Little Pigs. And that's what our three pigs do. They're going to show us some things about karate. Alright, so who can tell me, by raising your hand, what we talked about yesterday? Brianna. Talk louder.
We talked about
And what else?
and we talked about how it was the beginning of
Okay. Leia, what else did we talk about?
Barnabas and God.
Right, what do we call that for that story? Okay, so what do we call that? Is that the lesson in the story? Yeah, so what is that? What word do we use for that?
The thing.
Theme. There we go. Very good. Okay, so today we're going to be reading a different version of the Three Little Pigs, like I said, and we're going to compare and contrast them. So we're going to fill in a chart called a Venn diagram. This is what it looks like. You'll get one after we read the story, and it's going to help us compare and contrast different things in the story, like the theme, and we're also going to talk about point of view. So why do we need to know how to compare and contrast things? When you go to the grocery store and you want to buy, let's say you're buying paper towels. There's lots of different companies that make paper towels, right? So you have to decide if you want to buy Bounty, that's one company, or Sparkle, that's another company. You have to look and see which product is better, right? Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing with our stories today. We don't want to know which one's better. We just want to know what's different and what's alike. Okay, so now we're going to watch a video about point of view.
Hi readers! Today we're going to learn about different points of view. The point of view means which character is telling the story. We can also think about it as how the character is seeing what's happening in the story. For example, let's look at this little girl looking at a garden. What is her point of view? How does she see the flowers? Let's take a look. This is what the little girl sees. Now, let's pretend to be an ant in that very same garden. What would the flowers look like to the ant?
Big.
Whoa, the flowers look so big and tall from the little ant's point of view. It's so different from how the girl saw the flowers. When we read a story, one way to know the point of view is to listen to who is speaking. We can even change our voice to match the character's voice. Let's read Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Listen for when the voices change. Can you hear who is telling the story and whose point of view it is?
Once upon a time, there was a little girl. Her name was Goldilocks. She had golden hair. One day, Goldilocks was walking in the forest. She saw a house and knocked on the door. She went inside. Nobody was there. Goldilocks saw 3 bowls on the table. She was hungry.
This porridge is too hot. This porridge is too cold. This porridge is just right.
Goldilocks ate all the porridge. Goldilocks was tired now.
This chair is too big. This chair is too big too. This chair is just right.
But the chair broke. Goldilocks was very tired. She went upstairs.
This bed is too hard. This bed is too soft. This bed is just right.
Soon the bears came home.
Someone's been eating my porridge,
Said Daddy Bear.
Someone's been eating my porridge.
Said Mummy Bear.
Someone's been eating my porridge, and it's all gone.
Said Baby Bear.
Did Did you notice how the voice changed when the bears started talking? When the voices change, it helps us know which character is speaking. Even if I'm reading all by myself in my head, I can give each character a different voice. Let's keep reading the story.
Someone's been sitting on my chair.
said Daddy Bear. Someone's been sitting on my chair, said Mummy Bear.
Someone's been sitting on my chair, and it's broken,
said Baby Bear.
Someone's been sleeping in my bed.
said Daddy Bear. Someone's been sleeping in my bed, said Mummy Bear.
Someone's been sleeping in my bed, and he's still there,
said Baby Bear. Goldilocks woke up and saw the three bears. Help! She ran downstairs and into the forest. She never came back again.
What a good story. Now let's look at different parts of the story so we can see the different points of view. Let's go back to when Baby Bear's chair broke. Now, from Goldilocks' point of view, what do you think she thought happened? Well, we remember she came in and was tired and wanted to find a chair to sit in, and she accidentally broke Baby Bear's chair. Now let's think about what the bears saw. What was their point of view? Well, Baby Bear came in and said, someone's been sitting on my chair and now it's broken. He was very upset and confused because he didn't know how his chair broke. So we can see that there are two different points of view about what happened to Baby Bear's chair. Let's look at one other part of the story to see the different points of view. Remember when Goldilocks fell asleep in Baby Bear's bed? Well, let's think. What was the bear's point of view during this part? What did they see? Well, Baby Bear saw a stranger sleeping in his bed. And look at his face. How confused he is. He doesn't know what's going on. Now, from Goldilocks' point of view, what does she see? Well, when she woke up, she was so scared. She saw three bears. She yelled out and she ran out of the house. We can see at this part of the story, both the characters have very different points of view. They're seeing the events in two different ways. Great job learning about point of view. Remember, when you're reading, you can change your voice to match the different characters, and always think about the different characters' points of view, or how they are seeing what's happening in the story.
Hello, News Race fans. I'm Seth Stevens, and in just a
Okay. So who can tell me what we learned about in this video? Points of view, okay. Does the point of view, depending on which character is talking, does that change? Yes, right, because Goldilocks saw things differently from the three bears, didn't she? Right, okay. So I want you to think about the video while we're reading the next story, okay? So 1 to 5, go to the right. 6 to 10. 11 to 15. And 16 to 20. Alright, our story today is called The Three Ninja Pigs. What in the heck? Let's see. Once upon a dangerous time, a wolf loved to huff and puff. He'd go around town and blow houses down till three little pigs cried, "Enough!" We've got to get rid of that bully. We're tired of letting him rule. We must put an end to this terrible trend. Let's train at that new ninja school. took beginner Aikodo to learn a few basic techniques. He gained some new skills, but got bored with the drills and dropped out in less than 2 weeks. His brother, Pig 2, took jujitsu and learned how to block and to punch. When the wolf comes to knock, he'll be in for a shot. Hi-ya! I will eat him for lunch. The teacher said, excellent progress. Pig-san, you must study more. Pig 2 said, no way, sayonara, sensei. I'm ready to settle a score. Pig 3 chose the art of karate and rose bright and early to train. She got in a groove and mastered each move, the cartwheel, the crescent, the crane. She balanced and blocked like an expert and predicted her lessons non-stop. Practiced her lessons, I'm sorry. By the time she was through, she could break boards in two by performing a perfect pork chop.
So she is a girl.
Yes. For months, she persisted in earnest until she had paid all her dues. How happy she felt when she earned her last belt. I'll make that wolf shake in his shoes. Soon after, the wolf paid a visit to the little straw house of Pig 1. Stay out of my hut or I'll kick your big butt. I'm telling you, you better run. The wolf took a giant step forward. Oh yeah, come and get me, he dared. Pig 1 made a fist. He swung, but he missed. I wish I'd been way more prepared. The wolf chased Pig 1 to his brothers and hollered. The wolf chased Pig and hollered, hey pigs, let me in. Pig 2 yelled, retreat or you'll suffer defeat by the hair of my chinny chin chin. One puff and the wolf blew the door down. Pig 2 did his best flying kick, but whoosh, the wolf dodged, and the pig's foot got lodged. We've got to get out of here quick. The chase carried to their sisters. Pig 3 was outside in her Jeep. I'm a certified weapon, so watch where you're stepping. You don't want to start up with me. Pig 3 faced the wolf and bowed deeply, for ninjas are very polite. Quit huffing and puffing, and I am not bluffing. I warn you, I'm willing to fight. She then gave a swift demonstration with backflips and butterfly kicks. The wolf looked quite shaken, but hollered, yo, Bacon, I'm not at all scared of your tricks.
No, baby.
Right, because bacon comes from pigs.
Oh.
Pig 3 heaped some bricks in a pile. I'll show you what else I can do. With one mighty whack, she split the whole stack. Pig 3 said, that could have been you. The wolf saw that he was outrivaled. He took one last look at Pig 3. I love to eat ham, but I think I should scram before she makes mincemeat of me.
Ooh.
She's not playing with it. The brother pigs high-fived their sister and watched the wolf vanish from view. They cheered, ninjas rule! Let's go back to school so we can be ninja pigs too. They devoted themselves to their training till each proudly earned a degree. 3 pigs full of mojo then ran their own dojo, and life was forever wolf-free. Alright, so who was the character that was telling us this story? Marcella.
The 3 ninja pigs and the wolf.
Those are the characters, right? Those are the characters. So So the person, we did see the points of view of the pigs, right? Because they're talking on this page, so this is their point of view. But what about when it starts on this page, when it says, once upon a time? Who's talking there?
Dog.
Jabril.
Dog.
The narrator, right? The narrator is the invisible person that's telling the story. Right? So that's the narrator's point of view. And then when you see the quotation marks, that means the characters are talking, right? So it's their point of view. Okay, so I want you to talk. Now we're going to compare and contrast. Who can tell me what compare and contrast means? Matthew, I. When you compare if you compare an apple and an orange, what are you doing? Right.
See how they're different and alike?
Right, so compare, you want to see how they're alike, and contrast is you want to see how they're different. So I want you to get with your partner, and I want you to compare and contrast the story we read today with the story we read yesterday.
The difference?
Right?
All of them so other than the same
that the first one was just pigs. This one is now something that's the same
Turn back around. Alright, who wants to share what they talked about? Brianna.
I said that they both showed strong sticks.
Right, so they all have the same type of houses, okay? Okay, hold on, I'll come back to you. Jabril.
They both have the same characters, and they're different because they're different. Like they're going different.
Right, so in the first book, there wasn't really a lot of,
Like builders.
right, they built their houses and the wolf came and blew them down, right? But in this book, they already had their houses built, and the pigs still tried to come and get them, but it was different, right? Because they had to fight the pig. All right, Jordan.
The latter for the house. Like something like the same. Well, something like different. When they build the house, the second house, but in the normal one, they the third little kid built it with straw, and in the ninja one, he built it with those bamboo.
Okay, that's good. Marcelo.
that's different. The pigs, when we read the first one, it just had pigs.
Right.
And the one that we're reading right now is one that have ninjas. They are ninjas.
Right, they're ninjas. So we saw the 3 pigs, and there was other characters in the book too, right? They didn't talk, but they were in the book. See, they're classmates, so that's a difference.
And there was the wolf too.
And there was a wolf too. All right, so okay, 2 more. Allison.
I have one that's different, and it's
about the pigs doing karate. They were doing karate, and then they had their own dojo.
Okay, so that was in the end, right? So what happened in the first book in the end?
That the wolf couldn't blow the third pig's house down,
Right.
and then he got cooked.
Okay, so the endings were different. In this book, the Ninja Pigs, they had to fight the wolf to make him go away, right? And in the first book that we read yesterday, they had to cook him. Alright, so when you go back to your seats, we're going to use the Venn diagram that we talked about to compare and contrast the two stories. Does anybody have any questions? Leon?
This is the one with the say that's the second part,
Okay.
but the third pig's house is bigger than the other one.
They were bigger, okay. Do you have a question?
Are we allowed Bartlett for the donut?
No, I'm gonna help you start the diagram and then you're gonna do it by yourself. Alright, Jordan, do you have a question?
When we get a diagram, do we have to write the stuff that we just told?
I'm gonna help you start it and then you're gonna you're gonna write down some of the stuff we just talked about. Jerome?
This is nothing.
No, not right now. Alright, 6 to 10, go back to your desk. I'm gonna tell you how much you have to write. 11 to 15. 16 to 20. And 1 to 5. What's the first thing we do when we get our paper? Write your name and the date. Alright, everybody got that?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Alright. So who can tell me what's the first story that we're going to write over here under your name? The story we read yesterday. Like the 3 Little Pigs. So that's our story 1. Alright, what's our second story called? What story did we read today? Right. Ninja Pig. So that's our story number 2. Alright, so we have 2 circles, and this is our Venn diagram. So we have 2 circles and they overlap. On this side, we're going to write things about the 3 little pigs. And on this side, we're writing things about the 3 ninja pigs. And in the middle, what do you think goes in the middle, where it says both? Allison?
We gotta write something that's about like the same scene.
The same, right? So we're going to write things that are the same about the 2 stories in the middle. Okay? So in this part, try not to write it so big, okay? Okay, so one thing that we talked about that was similar was the story, both stories had 3 little pigs and a wolf. And you can write here, 3 little pigs and a wolf. Alright, so what did we talk about that was different? Matthew?
Character
The characters. What about the characters? What was different?
in the in those 3 little things. I mean the
3 ninja pigs.
3 and 6. They were ninjas.
Okay.
And then the 3 little pigs, they were like building.
Okay, so on the 3 little pigs side, what are we gonna write?
They were ninjas.
On the 3 little pigs.
Oh, 3 little pigs. They were building.
Okay, so over here we're gonna write the pigs were builders. Alright, so Talea, what are we gonna write on the ninja pig side?
The wolf ran away, but we had to cook.
Alright, hold on, Pete. What if we wrote on the little pigs, the pigs were builders? We need our statement to match this side, right? So Tatiana, what are we gonna write over here?
The pigs were ninjas.
Right, so whatever we write on this side, it needs to make sense. It needs to line up, just like when you do a math problem, you line it up. So you want it to make sense when you read it, right? So the pigs were ninjas. Alright. So does everybody understand what to do?
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Alright, so I want you all to come up with 3 more things, and you can fill in some more in the middle too, but I want you to come up with 3 more differences from the story, okay? And I'm going to walk around and help you if you need help. And if it helps you, you can draw lines so that your sentences are lining up with each other.